Hi everybody, and welcome to what I think will be the final part of this Waterfall journal. I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. I can't tell a lie. I'm just delighted with it. I absolutely adore it. It's featuring the Cathe Holden fabric again, and it's kind of similar to the concertina book that I did, in as much as there's hand stitching and buttons and the whole thing is a fabric collage, but it's obviously in a different format, and I really do like this format. So our front page, and then as you open it up, we've got this fabric collage here, and on the facing page I've made a pocket and a tag to go in it, and because this is red, I've put a red rose on cream background onto this tag, some red seam binding in the top, and I've cut out a lady from a sewing pattern. I've cut them all out, so I can't really, it's not very interesting what it looks like now because they've all gone. But there were 5 ladies and I needed 5, so I mean it was just great, and they're just the right height. I love that they sit beautifully there, and the tag is card, but I've stuck on a couple of layers of the actual pattern, you know, the tissue, this stuff, onto the tag, and 1 layer onto the back, because you can write over it. It's not difficult, you know, it's easy to write over. And she just fits in there. This one is blue because the facing page is blue, so I've picked up a little bit of that blue fabric. It's the same recipe, if you like. We've got this lovely lady here, and you can make that if you had the pattern, which you haven't now because I've just chopped up, and some blue fabric there, and I've just picked it up with a little bit of blue in there, and she fits down in there. Then we've got the purple one, it's the same recipe, different colours, different lady, different pocket style. That fits in there. Then we've got the green one. Yep, it's all kind of the same. So the only one remaining is this one. Look at that page, isn't it fab? It's really lovely, I love it. So we need to do something for this facing page here. So what I'm going to do is make a pocket, and this is the instruction sheet that comes with the pattern. It's this bit that you get that tells you what to do and how to do it, etc, etc. And all I've done is stick 2 pieces together back to back, so I've got a bit more substance to it to make the pocket with. So let's have a look and see what size. I've already cut a tag out of card. This is quite a big space here, so let's see what size we want this to be. If I cut it down that line there, oh, and that line there, do you think that's going to, I think that's going to work. Let's do that. So let me just get my chopping board out, because if I use my rotary cutter on glass, it just blunts the blade instantly, and I've done that twice already this week, so I don't dare do it again. So down there and down this line here, and that should be big enough, I think, for that tag that we've got. I don't really need to keep these little bits, I have no real use for them. And this is raggedy down here, so I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. And I think if we cut it off at that line, we'd have a reasonable size pocket actually. So I don't know what it measures. Let me tell you, it's 1, 2, 3, just light of 3.5. Just a little bit. So let's just trim that off there. Right, so now we've got our pocket. Let's just have a look and see. That's going to fit in there, definitely. And I'm going to ink round that at this stage, otherwise I forget. So it's just a light inking. the whole journal's got little bits of light inking on it, so I want this to be in keeping. There we go. Right, that's fine. Now with all the other ones, I've selected something to go on the pocket that complements the facing page. And for this, I've selected this pattern, which is stamps, and they're all different colours. The rest of the stamp patterns in this pack were all red, all green, whatever, all blue. This one's a mix, and I think it's going to go better with the birdie. So what size do I want? Maybe 3 stamps wide and 2 up. Yeah, I think so. Let's cut those. 3 stamps across. I've got a bit of a half one on the edge, so I'll cut it off. Ooh, I've gone quiet. Must be concentrating. So let's lay that to the side. So if I have that 3 by 3, yeah, I think that's going to look nice. And cover all the colours. We'll have one of each colour, I think. And those at the bottom are part stamps as well, which I don't need on this occasion. So yeah, actually it might be better if I put it over there, because I've got a bit of a blank bit there. So yeah, that's fine there. So I'm just going to glue that on with my Cosmic Shimmer glue. That looks anything but straight. I just can't use scissors. There's so much wrong with me. Let's just straighten that top bit up. Yeah, that looks a bit better. The problem with these stamps is they're not actually printed square on the fabric. I know that sounds like an excuse, but they aren't. They're very off. So I'm just putting the lightest little beads of glue on there, just to hold it while I stitch, really. So I'm going to pop that about there. Yeah, that's good. So you can still see, you know, the pattern business going around, and yeah, I think it's square. Who knows? Yeah, I think that's square there. So that just needs sewing around. So I'll just pop off and do that now. Actually, I'll do a bit more, and then I'll do a whole lot of sewing at one time. So that needs sewing. So this, get a bit of an old glue book out, or a bit of brochure that was left around the place. So I'm just using the tissue, the actual pattern. And this is quite an interesting bit up here. So let's put some glue on this, and I'm just using glue stick because all I'm sticking down is tissue paper. So, you know, you don't need the strongest glue in the world. Although I have to say this glue is very good. And it's hanging with me. I thought I was going to run out yesterday before I got this video done. I actually did a video yesterday, and then we realised that the sound dropped out halfway through, so I don't really know what that was about. It's never happened before. But let's hope it doesn't happen again. Right, so I'm going to use, well, take it off your glue book, otherwise the tissue will stick to your glue book as well. It's kind of not what you want. I'm going to use this piece here because it looks interesting. Now, it's going to be wrinkled, and all I can say to you is embrace the wrinkles. It's very fine and folded up and crinkled up tissue paper. So don't, you know, just know that it's going to crinkle and kind of, you know, live with it. Accept it, I guess, is better to say than just live with it. So I'm just going to trim off the big surplus amount here. put that to one side because we need that again. I'm just going to take my bone folder and just, oh, I did not mean to do that. That's never happened on any of the other ones. How typical is it when you're recording? Pretty. Things go wrong. Right, I'm just going to stick that down best I can. It'll be fine in the scheme of things. We can cover that up. Right, so that's squashed down, so I'm just going to trim off all the surplus. And it does want to stick to your scissors, which is most annoying. So it's not difficult doing this, it's just a bit of straightforward journaling really, but it does involve a little bit of fabric. But, you know, you don't have to use fabric, you could use paper, and you certainly don't have to stitch it, you could just glue it. If you are gluing it, I recommend that you glue it a bit more than I did on the pocket. Right, so now I want another piece. That glue with is a bit finished. Let me get another piece. They've opened a new supermarket in our nearest town, and they're flooding us with these brochures, which is fair enough. I'm just going to fold that over, and then I'll have another piece in the middle that's clean. And I'm just going to put one more layer of this on here, and then it gives a lovely colour, that lovely sort of vintagey colour, which I really like. The pattern itself, I don't know how old it is. I'd say it might be 80s maybe. But I bought a load of them at a charity shop of that sort of age and older, and they were 50p each. I mean, come on. Right, I'm going to put that bit there because that's quite interesting. And you'll see the underneath through, which is good because it adds all the lines together then. So yeah, I like that. I need to be a bit less harsh with my bone folder. It does flatten the wrinkles, but the wrinkles are still there. And as I say, I like that because it looks like the old sewing pattern. Because they were always crinkled. As I recall, you used to have to iron your sewing pattern before you cut anything out. I could be wrong there, but I do seem to remember ironing sewing patterns. And if you're particularly fussy about your tags, you could do that too. Iron your patterns. So I'll save that to one side because we still need a bit of that. And just tidy that up along the bottom. Ugh, I hate when that happens. Right then. Lovely, that's all stuck down. It still feels quite gluey, but that's okay. So what I want now is a piece of fabric to match this, and I've selected this piece. It's from the same piece as that, and I want my lady. Now here's my lady. I didn't have a bright mixy up colour one like the bird, so I'm using this one, and I'm going to pop this in behind her like that. Now you may notice I've fussy cut it, but I haven't fussy cut this bit out, and I just wanted to show you how to do that in case you find yourself in a similar situation where you've got one of these pieces that's an island, if you like. It's surrounded by the pattern you want everywhere. Get your scalpel out and just carefully draw around it with your scalpel. Now if you're not used to using scalpels, please take extreme care. They are by their very nature sharp, and if it slips it will cut you and it will bleed, and it will hurt, so take care. But if you are proficient with a scalpel, this is the way to go to fussy cut the bits like this that are stuck in the middle. There we go. Maybe need another little bit off there. That's fine. Yeah, that looks great. And now, oh, does it? Not really. There we go. That is definitely it. And now that will go over there, and we'll see the pattern through that section. So where do I want her to go? That side or the other side? Actually, that's kind of upside down, isn't it? I think that's the way that goes. In which case, yeah, definitely want that over there, otherwise she's going to be covering it. And she's going to go about there. Yeah, I like that. That's good, yeah. So set her to one side. We'll stick this on by the same method, just really fine little beads of glue. Like that. Well, my mind is beginning to wander to whatever my next project will be. I have ideas. I've got ideas. It will involve fabric again. I think that's good there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's fine. So this now needs to be sewn around as well. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to go and sew around those. Nothing more complicated than that. Okay, so that's sewn round and this sewn round. And what I want to do now, before I sew around the actual pocket, is just put some lace at the top, and then when we sew around it'll be caught in with it. I've laid out a couple that I thought would do. I really like that one. That's upside down. Yeah, that would be typical, wouldn't it? Stick it on the bottom. Yeah, I like that one. That's nice. This one, its main merit is it's very thin, but you don't really notice it much, do you? It doesn't really stand out. That's the wrong side. I don't know, actually, I quite like that. No, I'm going to go for this one. This is the one I liked. So I'm just going to put some glue. Just make sure that is the right way up. Yes. Just along the top. Quite a bit, because the lace itself does absorb the glue. And then it leaves nothing to stick with. So make sure you get it down the edges. Otherwise, when you're sewing, it will not lie flat and you'll curse it. There we go. So let's just check I've got the right side of this. That's the wrong side. Let's just do that. So when you're putting the lace on, you want it taut, but you don't want it tight. So if you have it tight, it'll bend your work and you'll never get it straight. So just a nice tension on it. Square up the ends. Right, before I go and sew around that, I'm just going to let the glue dry a little bit. I mean, my machine's never said anything about sewing through glue, but you know, I don't want to wreck it. And while we're waiting, we'll put the piece on the back of here. So just press a bone folder over your stitches and it knocks them back into the paper, the card, and makes it a bit flatter. And let's bring out our gluey thing again, and the remainder of the tissue that we had. That's probably quite a nice piece there to use. And put some glue stick on this. It's not a big job putting the pockets in this journal, to be honest. you know, they're not mega complicated. They're nice, they've got fabric on and stuff, but they're fairly straightforward tags. So once you get to this stage, breathe easy. You've nearly finished. There we go. So I'm going to aim to get this interesting piece on there. Like that. There we go. Oh, didn't take it off the glue sheet. Oh, that's okay, it's come off fairly easily. I'll put that in the bin because it's... Let's just cut it roughly first. Put those over there, you never know, it might come in useful for something. I'll just trim around here neatly as we can. I think Mr. F's just come to ask me if I'm going to be ready for lunch. And the answer is yes. Because I'm ready for my lunch.
Be about half an hour.
That's perfect. Perfect. It's minced beef and potatoes today with cabbage. It's one of my favourites. I love it. It's just plain, old-fashioned, and I absolutely adore it. So we generally, when we're making it, we make enough for 2 days. It makes getting tomorrow's dinner very easy, and it's good. It's good to have it 2 days running. I like it. Honestly, this glue stick, it just loves to stick to my scissors, and I hate it. Right, so we have got our piece of tissue, pattern tissue on the back. Now, you can see that we've sewn round. You can see the stitches, but it all melds into the pattern and it doesn't really matter. So let's just do that. I'm determined today to pick off bits of this tissue, aren't I? It's never happened before. So I'm just... Actually, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'll stick my lady on. Yeah, she looks nice there. And I'm going to stick her on with my Cosmic Shimmer because she's sticking to a bit of the fabric. If she was just sticking to the tissue paper, I think you'd be fine with glue stick, to be honest, because it's just a thin bit of paper. But I want her to stick to the fabric as well, so I'm using Cosmic Shimmer. That's the thought behind that. There's not always thought behind my processes, which is why sometimes they don't work out. It's funny, isn't it, when you get to the end of a project, you get sort of excited. You want to see it when it's finished. And, of course, you're dying to start this new project in your head. I'm not quite ready to start the new project yet. It definitely needs a bit more thinking about. It's going to involve fabric and lace. Lots of lace. I've been saving up bits of lace. Right, so about there. Yeah, got a bit of tissue under her. Yeah, about there. She looks good there. I like it. Just get my Timmy towel. Let's press her down. Pick up any bits of glue that are hanging around that we don't want. She looks lovely, doesn't she? Don't worry if your fabric frays. It won't fray back beyond your stitch line anyway. And it looks quite nice if it frays a little bit, I think. So I shall just encourage that there. Right, so this needs to be sewn around now. and this needs to be sewn around. Well, this will definitely be dry, and by the time Bobby, I think Bobby wants to make a guest appearance, and by the time I've sewn around that, this will be dry enough to sew around. So I'll sew around those and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so that's those sewn around. Now I need to stick them in my journal. Just going to move that. We don't need that anymore. Oops. So I need to stick this in the book. About there, I think. Let's just check the height just in case she's too tall. No, that's perfect. So glue around all the 3 sides, not the top. And try and get some glue on the stitches because they're always the bit that are resistant to stick, I find. So yeah, try and get your glue on the stitches. There's quite a bit of glue going on here. There we go. Let's just put the lid on that. That's the thing with precision tips. They do, or they can, dry really, really quickly. So make sure you've put your lid on quickly. So what about that? A little bit further out. Is that straight? Quick before I stick it down permanently. That doesn't look straight to me. Come on. It's 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, just down a touch. Yeah, that wasn't bad. So let's just stick that down really firmly. Lovely. Just got a little bit of glue there that I want to pick up. Lovely. There we go. Right, so let's just check the tag fits. Yes, that's a lovely fit. And I'm just going to ink around the edges and put a ribbon of some sort in the top. Let's get inked around here. Like I say, don't well, I haven't inked mine too heavily. Just hint of a tint. It does add something to it, but the fabric collages aren't in any way sort of grungy or anything like that. So, you know, I just want to add a little bit. And I can't wait to start thinking about my new project. There we go. Right, bit of ribbon in the top, or this time I'm using seam binding, and I'm using this colour. I think it goes really well with it. Just need to work out where the centre is. Let's just do it down here. 2 3/4. What's half of 2 3/4? 1 7/8, I think. 1 7/8. 1 7/8. Is that looking anyway central? No, not at all. Not in the slightest. Let's do it like that. That's half, that's a half, that's a half, that's a half. So it's there. It's not easy being me. It's truly not. So just make a hole with whatever device you have that you normally make your holes with. I'm really fortunate. I've got a crocodile, but you know, your handheld punch, anything will work. Right, I'm not putting a reinforcement in because it really doesn't need it. And the other thing is, it would just add bulk to the journal, which I'm really trying not to have. I'm trying to have these pages on this side as bulk free as I possibly can. So I'm just putting a bit of that through, cut it off, a bit of an angle, and I'm just tying it, one tie, like that, so that doesn't create too much bulk. And there we have it. There's our tag. Come off my lady's face. Let's pop that in the book and see where we are. Just mindful that that glue's still a bit wet, so I'm not going to push it right down to the bottom. See if I can get that to go that way. That's it. And you. Right. So, should we take a quick little canter through it, do you think? Let's do that. Okay, I'm just not going to say anything, I'm just going to flip through it. There we go. There's our journal. This one is actually sold. If you'd like me to make one for you, just drop me a message, and I'll make one along these lines for you, if that's what you like. So thanks for watching. I hope if you're going to make one, you've got all the info that you need to go ahead and make your very own version of this. I'll see you again very, very, very soon with a new project. Bye for now.